they'd slap your hands and take it away from you. You had to learn with a fountain pen. Again, that was another one of those anti-technology drives that didn't work. I read in 1828 at the Teachers Union meeting in Ontario, there was a complaint that all these kids today are writing on slates, and they don't know how to roll bark anymore and write on bark. They're losing that skill because of these expensive slate boards. So there's always an anti-technology streak with any new device that comes forward. Again, you have the Kaynote pen and e-ink, which this is a computer. The pen itself is the computer, and it's linked to the internet. There's more on rollable displays. And all these toys. And interestingly, we were the first, I believe, in Canada. Maybe others didn't publicize their piracy. But we were the first to break the code in the Sony PlayStation and make it usable to access our digital library. And to do that, you had to break the code. And in Canada, this is still legal. It won't be when they bring in the new copyright legislation. But in Canada, there's nothing to stop you from breaking the code of a device in order to make it do what you want it to do. But they're trying to stop that, and there's a court case going on in the States now where they're really pushing it to enforce it. They're trying to bring it to Canada. But again, it's basically, if we can't break the code in order to do research in Canada, we will always be behind the United States. They will always have the lead on everyone if we have to gain special permission in order to do that. And, you know, we didn't do it for piracy reasons. We just did it because we wanted a game player to be usable for other things besides playing games. And these are the most powerful computers around. The game players are really powerful computers, and there's all kinds of things we could be doing with them besides just playing games. Not that I'm against playing games either. I'll talk more about that later. I think that's a good thing too. Okimoto, the president of Sony, said Moore's law is too slow for us. For those of you that don't remember, Moore's law is the fact, and it's been true today, and it probably will continue to be true for some time, that the cost of computing power is halved every year. It used to be 18 months, but now they're saying every year. So the cost of this much computing power will be half as much next year. That's why, as you've all experienced, the computer you buy, as soon as you buy it, one of your friends comes along with a better one that they bought cheaper. Part of the computer, the human condition. So with these game players, and actually on the web, there's all kinds of games. And we see the future of using these mobile devices, or any kind of computing device, linked up with games. And I see the future of education linked up with games. And this came about from the US military that started out with expensive digital simulators in the 1950s for training the armed forces. And at that time they had these simulators, and some of the trainee soldiers would start playing games on them. And they were severely chastised for that. They were told, this is serious equipment. You must not play games on them. And these have to be used correctly. They're for training, not for playing games. And this didn't stop the troops. They would sneak in and play the games and make games and do all kinds of things with the simulators that the teachers and the other authorities didn't want them to do. And after a while, in the early 60s, the penny dropped. Or as they say in the Maritimes, they began to smell the coffee. And they realized that the troops who were playing the games were their best troops. They were the best students. That the games were actually improving their skills in using the training equipment. And from then, they started to develop simulations that had games built in. And they've gone all the way over to the other side now, where they build the game, not the simulation. The game is a simulation, but what they're building is a game, because they realize that learners learn more quickly, more effectively, and more deeply when they play games. And this is very, I believe, an extremely important finding for learners. I think it's something we should have known instinctively a long time. I mean, our children learn by playing games. That's how they learn when they're little babies and grow up until we beat it out of them at school.